Hey Instagram fam, here we are. It's week 3 of our discussion around ADA compliance and how it applies to your website. And again, if you don't understand the importance of the web accessibility standards for your website, your brand might be fucked. So over the last 2 weeks, I posted 2 IGTVs about ADA compliance and recommend you check those out as well so you can get a better understanding of what the web content accessibility guidelines are and how to apply them to your website to ensure you are fully compliant with ADA standards. Now today we're discussing part 3 of our 4-part web accessibility series that focuses on understanding all the guidelines of web content accessibility. And this week we're specifically talking about the operable guidelines. So when looking at your website, ask yourself, when users visit your website, how easy do they find it to operate? Regardless of how informative or visually impressive your page might seem, can any user navigate the page? These are great questions to start with and the foundation for what we'll talk about today, which are the variety of the challenges that keep all users from making full use of most websites today. And again, over 98% of websites are non-compliant with today's ADA standards for web accessibility. So listen up. Operable guidelines span across 4 major strategies to help more users navigate your website. I'll go into detail about those in a minute, but I just wanted to list them real quick. So number 1 is keyboard accessibility. Number 2 is allowing enough time for anyone to access the content. 3 would be seizures and other physical reactions. And number 4 would be navigability. So let's start with keyboard accessibility. So this concept, it's super easy to understand and it means just what it says. So for a web page to truly be accessible, the page must allow users to perform all necessary actions and functions with a keyboard. The common misconception is that every action can already be handled by a keyboard, and that usually isn't true unless your developer has made an effort to provide keyboard-based accessibility. And in my experience with most developers, they would never make this accommodation unless you specifically ask for it. So keyboard accessibility is essential for users that are unable to use touch screens or other solutions. 2 problematic areas on most websites are the links on the page, as well as excessive tabbing when dealing with lengthy content, especially for users with motor skill impairments. So make sure to ask yourself, how can I improve the functionality of my page so they can be operated only by a keyboard? Next, let's talk about the time it takes to complete certain actions on the page. Plain and simple, the time it takes for a user to read and utilize content, it's going to vary significantly from one person to the next. This operable guideline states that all users should be given the opportunity to take in content without worrying it will become inaccessible because they're not fast enough. Many websites today have implemented high security protocols that'll force web pages to reload or timeout or log out, and this can often happen sooner than expected if you're not fast enough. While some sites like banking websites or an e-commerce store may not be able to completely eliminate timeouts, they should grant users the opportunity to adjust the timing as needed. And sometimes you'll see this on a website where a message will pop up and it'll warn you about a session expiring in the next 5 minutes, or it might even ask you if you need more time. So these are the types of accommodations that'll help users extend their session and not lose any progress they've made during their session. There will, of course, always be situations where no alternatives are available, like an online auction or a webinar. The next operable guideline focuses on seizures and other physical reactions to web page content. There are more than 50 million people worldwide that have epilepsy or other physical conditions that make them vulnerable to seizures and other severe physical reactions if they're exposed to extended flashing or other effects. So some people are so sensitive that there's no way to prevent seizures with 100% certainty, but our goal is to limit the potential adverse reactions to as many users as possible. To reach the lowest level of ADA compliance, the operable guidelines mandate that websites avoid elements on the page that flash more than 3 times during a 1-second interval. So avoid quick flashing altogether if possible. And the last operable guideline focuses on navigation. So how navigable is your web page? How navigable is your entire website? No matter how strategic you are in designing and planning, pages might still be inaccessible to certain users purely based on the navigation. The goal of making a website navigable is to allow users to understand where they are at any given point in time in their journey on your website, as well as how they can reach their desired content. There are 4 techniques developers can implement to help users navigate a web page. The first is known as bypass blocks, which allow users to skip repetitive blocks of content such as headers or menus. And this is especially useful when using a screen reader that usually starts at the top of each page. You utilize this solution. Screen readers can skip everything at the top and move right into the content on the page. Number two is page titles. So make sure your page titles, they're clear, they're unique to the page, and they're understandable to everyone. This ensures the user knows where they are at all times. Number three is the focus order. So each element on your web page can be put into a sequence so you can easily move from one element to the next. And for users that need to navigate with the keyboard or screen reader, focus order allows you to map out the order they should move from one block of content or element on the page to the next one. And the last is link purpose. So simple enough, this just means that the link text itself should be sufficient enough to let users know where the link goes. So instead of putting a link on your page that says, click here, make the link something more descriptive, such as click here to contact us or add to cart. Again, with 98% of websites not meeting the compliance benchmark, there's bound to be significant room for improvement with your website. Operable guidelines are essential to allowing everyone the best opportunity to navigate your website and have a positive experience. So ADA compliance, it's a big deal to us, and it should be for you as well. Maintaining compliance is going to help you avoid any potential legal issues that could occur from just one single user having a bad experience on your website. It's not only the right thing to do, but also safeguards your business from legal challenges and strengthens your online reputation because you are taking the time to ensure every user can gain equal access to the content on your website. So please make sure to head over to our website to check out part 1, 2, and 3 of our web content accessibility guidelines in our blog so you can get your website on the path to ADA compliance today. Thanks for watching, and I'll chat with you guys soon.